Hi, my name is Buchi Lenore, and today I'm talking to Mrs. Ifeoma Fafunwa. She is the creative director of Eye Open Eye, a Nigerian production company that started in 2014. Talk to us about Eye Open Eye and how you came this far, because I know you started off as an architect.
Yes.
And you've worked in the US, and now you're in Nigeria. So talk to us about that.
Okay, well, I returned to Nigeria. I was born in Lagos at Island Maternity Hospital in the early, yes, the famous one. And I went to the US for university, and then I worked for many years and returned back to Nigeria after 20 some years. And there was just a general lack of participation in the arts when I first came back, but it's exploded. In fine arts, everything has exploded. Music, it's gone crazy. What I started feeling was that there was a lot of complaint, and I decided that I needed to do something to help instead of complain, because I was joining in the complaining about how bad things were. So I thought, okay, I'm an artist, and I need a platform that can encourage people to speak their mind. So Eye Open Eye is basically pidgin for my eyes are open.
Okay.
And I can also share stories, not meaning me, meaning the audience members' eyes are open. So it was a platform created for many people to come together. The idea was that many directors would create work about social change and social transformation. And then it would be a platform where they could speak to a larger audience. Yes. And I wanted it to be sort of live performance, film based, so that you could reach many people. Yes.
Okay. But some of the works you've done, and while researching, we found out that you also worked as a director for the V monologue.
Yes.
Can you talk to us briefly about how you came about directing that, because of the history?
Well, when I'd been directing in the US, but when I came back to Nigeria, it was the boom, the stock market boom. So I went back into architecture and started building. And then Joke Silva ran into me. We both were in Holy Child together, so we exchanged notes about what we've been doing. And she said, hey, I have this thing, I'm going to produce the V monologues for the Kudirat Initiative for Democracy, and I'd like you to direct it. So it kind of brought my theater thing that I had parked back to Nigeria, because I was doing theater in the US.
Okay.
But I decided I'd sort of transitioned in and out of architecture in the US. And so I thought, I'll be an architect in Nigeria.
So how have you found it so far, going back into that part of your skill that you enjoy the most, that is being creative? Because with architecture and theater, there's a similarity in terms of thinking. How has it been for you to transition back into that in terms of growth?
Well, I realized that I've always been a designer.
Okay.
So I've designed clothing, you design shows. So basically, if you look at architecture, you're arranging space, you're arranging cement and tiles.
To look a particular way.
Yes, to look a particular way, to give a particular effect on a viewer that walks past or experiences your building. That's the real, true, honest, artistic way of looking at architecture, and that's the way I designed. Now I thought, I've even done landscape design. I thought, the things are not moving after I arrange them. So why not make them move? Right? So you arrange things on stage. You're now painting, because I also paint. So you're now painting with light, you're painting with sound, you're arranging people and color and costume in a way that moves. So it's interesting. And then you have the element of the actor and the character doing their own thing. So it's very fascinating, because you can arrange it and then it moves and it changes, and you have to keep arranging it because the actor is going to do what they want to do, and then you have to, it's organic. So it's designing organically.
Wow. So how did you get to this point? How did you get to the point of having your own production company? Because you've gone from architecture now into theater. What made you decide to have Eye Open Eye as a main focus for what you're doing?
Okay, a few years ago, I was sort of, I guess, sponsored in or recommended and participated as an Aspen Leadership Fellow. So I am an Aliwa Fellow, and that's a group of Nigerians that have been selected and gone through a process around leadership. And part of that process is to ask yourself how you can contribute to your community in a significant way. I then decided that I needed to use my art
to do that.
So iOpenEye was what came out of that process of training and thinking and reflecting on how you can affect change very quickly in your environment in a way that you are passionate about.
And what has iOpenEye been able to achieve in this time frame when you started it, based on your thoughts? What have you been able to do? Have you taken it just from theater as perspective? Have you done a little bit of training? And have you been able to do some business out of it? Because it's all about, even with the theater, you're hiring people, you're training people.
Sure.
You're paying somebody an income, and you're empowering people in different ways. So
definitely.
iOpenEye done.
So iOpenEye runs also a free workshop for young women who would like to enter into performance art and take it seriously. We don't really teach the social change part with that workshop. We teach professionalism and ethics and how to conduct yourself in an audition, as well as training you. So that is something that we've done from the very beginning.
Okay.
From the workshop, we have professionals that have come out of the workshop. We also do focus groups and free shows. So we've done shows. The first product that came out of iOpenEye after the workshop is Hear Word. And Hear Word is the popular one.
Very popular.
Yes, and Hear Word is a women empowerment. 50% of our work, if not 60% of our work, intends to be empowering women, because there are not that many entities doing that. And that's sort of, the world is looking at women to make a difference. The entire globe is doing that now. Another thing we intend to look at is just everything that limits Nigeria. So corruption, poverty, human rights,
theater.
All communicated through theater, film, and television. So performance art.
So as a CEO, as one who sits on that table to make all of this happen, how do you do your day-to-day running of the business? Because it is a business. You're going to be hiring people. You're going to be making decisions about their life and how they grow. How has it been for you as a CEO empowering women?
It's been difficult as a CEO running a business, but it's been easy empowering women. In fact, I think that the product has run farther than the business itself, than the structure of the business itself. But that's a good problem to have. A lot of people start a business and then they hope you come and take the product. This time the product has gone actually around Lagos, Abuja, Abeokuta, Harvard, has done a US tour and has been in Amsterdam. So right now, the first product that's come out of the gate has gone out running, and we, the office, are trying to catch up with the product. So we're very excited about that, which means that business is good, right? Because we have several attractive products. The other thing is that we've done shows for universities and had over 1,000 viewers. We have actually a mini Hear Word called True Talk Naija. And that's a group of university students. They're fabulous. And they talk about women's issues and empowering themselves. We have done focus groups, which empower, you've done over 100 students sometimes in a focus group, talking about how they can take control of their own lives and what issues affect them. And now we're going to go into a section maybe where we begin to involve men in the discussion about women, and in the discussion even about young men and Nigeria.
Have you been able to set up? I know you said you're working backwards now. You already have a product that's already gone into the various market fairs, and you're now redoing the structuring of the business itself. Has there been any way for you to monitor the progress of the people you've empowered to say, okay, I've empowered you. What is the feedback? What am I getting from you? Are you really truly carrying on without empowerment? Is there a system that you created to make sure that
we're doing that right now? Okay. So what we're trying to do now, what we've seen is on social media, we're beginning to collect comments. We're beginning to collect comments from people who say that this has affected them.
Okay.
I got 3 today.
Oh, good.
So we get them all the time, and we're starting to collect them, and we're hoping to create a forum where people begin to talk about exactly this, what has happened to them since they saw the show. Even little video selfies and clips of people saying, I saw Hereward and da-da-da. Because Hereward is not just an immediate fix.
Okay.
We're trying to shift a mindset. We're trying to create a movement. So it's not going to be like immediate. You want to ask yourself, how are you limiting yourself as a woman? How are you limiting your daughter? And how are you even creating a limiting mind in your son, or a limiting environment, or your office space? What do you do in your office space that doesn't work to bring out the best possible potential in the women that you interact with?
Part of the things that you need as a successful business is talent. And so far, all you do is talent. How do you bring this talent together, and how do you then project it towards growth for you? You create all these shows at universities, and how do you bring together the people that work with you on your projects?
I am particular about passion. So we go through auditions.
Okay.
I mean, the last audition we had for Hereward, we had like 125 people try out. So we're competitive. But if I like to see passion, I like people who want to work and who want to do this kind of art. So I'm willing to invest, and I always invest in almost everybody I work with. Whether it's a lighting person, I will spend my time and do a sort of training. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that we're lucky that our product is attractive enough to celebrities, that we have celebrity actors who want to be a part of this social change. Good. Yes. So they come in and they are willing to sort of bend a little bit where they might not in a Nollywood setting. Yes. So we mix people. We empower women by mixing very young, talented women who may not be known or may not be even earning a living in performance art, together with people who are known in the industry for that type of work.
What is your growth strategy? You've done a couple of shows. Your business is just 2 years old, but the product is already out. Tell me how you've grown, and how many people come to see your shows, and what are the offers that you're receiving, things like that.
Yes, well, the offers are many. So we can't do all the offers because, I'm the main director now of iOpenEye. The idea is that we will have more directors as we grow. So there's a growth plan. But right now we're working in the office. We have 2 young ladies who work with me, and then I use a whole lot of consultants. So on a regular basis, I'm always looking for lighting consultants, sound. We're working with Ifeoma on our costuming. I work with other companies that do social impact work. And yes, and stages. I like to use traditional spaces. I work outside, I work inside. But basically, it's important to me that everyone is extremely passionate, because that is part of the eye-opening process as well. It's not only social impact, it's growing art. It's making people committed and see the value in a traditional art form, which is performance art. That's a traditional African art form. It's existed for thousands of years, and we want to bring back that
part of it.
Yes, that part of. I'm very passionate about Nigerian culture and Nigerian history, and I can get very upset at any minute, so we don't want to bring that up.
No, we're not. Yes. You've been known to wear a lot of Ankara, so you're just representing.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. On a day that you have a show, how many people do you see coming to sit and watch you?
In total, on this last product, which is Hereward, we've had 17,600 and something live audience members. That is not, that's not television, that's not social media, that is not film or anything like that. That's people sitting in chairs experiencing Hereward.
Are you intending to take this into TV, filming, or you still want to focus on the theater aspect of it?
I still want to focus on theater because we're trying to grow a theater-going audience. So, yes.
As the CEO of Eye Opener, what are your unique objectives to you? Because there's always the objective of this is where I want to go as a generality. But as a creative director, what do you want to achieve as a person, and what do you want your legacy to be?
There are several things that are important to Eye Open Eye, and we have our mission and vision. And basically, I'm interested in challenging the status quo where it limits the potential for Nigeria. And that is in almost anything that we see. So we pack social messages into our art form that basically topical news, whatever is happening. So that's one vision. The second is to showcase Nigerian art at its best. Yes, to showcase it, and we've already, if we've been invited to Harvard University, right, to showcase it not just for Nigerians to be able to see that this is what we can do, but also for everyone in the world to see what Nigeria is capable of doing. And it's not that we care so much about what people outside Nigeria say, but what I've realized is that 1 in every 5 Black people around the world is a Nigerian. Mm-hmm. So when we take it, there's the Nigerian diaspora, there's the African diaspora. Yeah. So when we take shows abroad, it's for Nigerians to feel proud. And when we had our question and answer after Hereward, before they ask the question, Nigerians will stand up and say, today I'm proud to stand here and say that I'm a Nigerian. I'm so proud of the work you're doing. And then they'd ask their question. So our second mission is being accomplished just by the work we're doing now.
Fantastic. So let me ask you, now we go to the financials, because in order for you to be successful, you need money.
Yes.
How have you been able to push this project this far? The financial institutions, are they helping? Are they supporting ACT? Because I know certain banks at different points in the year, they choose projects that they want to work with. Have they been supportive in terms of funding, sponsorship, and all of that?
Well, now it's tight for banks. We have individual support from individual businesswomen who like the work that we're doing and donate. The space that we're in right now is something that Prince George Shotinwa is allowing us to work here. Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of people who believe in the work that we're doing, and they give us support in kind or such. Is the funding enough? No. No, you can still help. We still want you to come forward and support us, because we can do a lot more work, and I need more support. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired. And I'm tired because I'm working 2 or 3 jobs, and it would be great if we could have more support. Do I believe people like the work that we're doing and want to support us? Yes. Because we get so much praise and so many people saying, what can I do? One thing that I'm getting a lot of is young people or mothers who say, I want my daughter to volunteer. So I've had almost 20-something volunteer offers, if not more. I think it's more than that. But I don't know who's going to work with the volunteers, so I can't even take the volunteers because I don't have the time to work with them. Yes.
And don't you think that if you walk up to a bank, because I know that there is a funding for women in SME, and you are an SME owner and you're female, don't you think that you can get a loan to work on that aspect of your business operations to support what you're doing, to employ more people, and then you can pass on that function
to someone else? Absolutely. Yes. I think we need what the arts needs is funding that makes sense in terms of the right interest rate for an organization. All around the world, art is supported by government, by grants from wealthy people. Every country in the world, even Ghana and Togo, you find that art is supported by government, is supported by grants, it's supported by patrons. So I'm not going to pretend that my art form is suddenly going to be able to, it might, I'm lucky.
Keeping your fingers crossed.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and we do have shows that pull profit, and this is probably phenomenal. It's not the usual thing, but I'm not going to say that there won't be topics that I might want to address that a bank might be afraid to support me. Yeah, so we need funding from everywhere. Now we've toyed with banks.
You talked about volunteers and mothers who want their children to support you, to work with you and volunteer. What advice would you give to them if they want to do exactly what you're doing today?
Well, I think the key to any successful business is finding what your passion is first. You've got to find what you want to do. What are you going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do, and people can't stop you from getting up to do? What is it that's going to drive you every day to get up? What do you like to do? And so for young people, I always say, ask yourself, what are the 5 things you want to do, you like to do best? It can even be, telling stories, gisting. That was one of mine, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm telling stories. But for me, what was also a big passion was Nigeria. And so it becomes, when I started merging storytelling, performance art, Nigeria, fine art, and women, that's where it came. Yeah, so I can get up at any time and say I'm doing this. So yes, passion, then planning your structure, looking in the market and saying, where's my niche? What is it that I can bring that no one else is bringing? But first is passion, because even if someone else is doing exactly what you want to do, if you're passionate enough about it, you're just gonna overtake. They're gonna be seeing your dust.
I always have a question that I always ask. What do you need to do more?
What do I need to do more? I need funding to do more. I would like the government to see the value of what we are doing at iOpenEye and say, hey, you know what? This group has just gone to Amsterdam and they represented Nigeria well. They've been to Harvard, they've been around Nigeria, and we'd like them to create more work because they're employing people, they're empowering people, and they're bringing value to the country. I would like support from leadership in Nigeria. I would like support from more corporations and wealthy Nigerians, even if they are not leaders. Yes. And I think then we can begin to talk about focus groups and shows that have thousands of people, and we can start talking about real change, which we already are, and educating. Yes, because we're doing it. We're educating, and we're training people, and we're sharing messages, and we're shifting mindsets already with just 3 people in our office and a bunch of consultants.
Can you imagine that?
And people who want it to happen even if they are not paid. So let's do it.
That's powerful.
Let's do it in a structured, proper environment.
That's very
But yes, we're doing pretty well.
That's interesting. So, any funny moments in your career so far?
Funny moments? Not funny moments, but for me, the most difficult thing was shifting gears. Was saying, you know what, even though I'm making money doing architecture and building people's houses, I need to make no money right now to start this business, and that the money will come. And it's been a rapid movement up. But to actually say to my husband, are you okay if I don't make a penny for some years? Are you okay with that? And am I okay with that? Am I okay with just not paying myself anything and just, every business has to go through that. That's what I did. Now, some people raise the money, they're lucky to raise all the money and start. But my passion was more than my structure, and I knew if I didn't let it out and start racing, it might die, because it takes courage to say, I'm not getting that paycheck next week or next month, and I'm gonna go into this other thing.
Thank you so much for taking time out to sit down with us and talk about where you are as a brand, where you're going, and how you've been able to impact this industry. We want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
We hope that when you become more successful, we can do another sit down to see what projects you're working on.
Yes, we're growing. We're doing well. Thank you.
Thank you.